Welcome to the third session of this training series to support you as you work to bring the learnings in the Tourism in the Community Toolkit to life. Today we'll take a closer look at the following areas. The first section will cover getting to know your audience with some tips and tricks on how to identify who they are, stay updated on their preferences, and how you can leverage this detail to maximize revenue. Next, we'll explore how you can package and brand your experience so that you can best represent yourself in the marketplace and attract the customers and charge the prices you desire. In the third section, we'll deep dive into how to approach creating a strategic marketing plan, followed by a review of the marketing channel mix and how to choose the most relevant channels for you. Getting clear on who it is that you are trying to attract into your business is a crucial first step towards identifying the best routes to market. We ideally need to know who it is that we want to reach before we can map out how we are going to reach them. This is an example you can sit down and work through with your teams, committees, and/or relevant stakeholders. Brainstorm and agree on the key locations, be they domestic, international, or the local community, as well as neighbouring counties. Consider the customer segments within these locations that you hope to appeal to most. Think about the current customer base as well as aspirational segments whom you would also like to attract through your marketing efforts. They could be gender-based, a certain age bracket, or family versus young, free, and single professionals. These are just a few examples, as there are many more. Each segment will have their own tastes and preferences, which informs their booking behaviour. Fáilte Ireland carries out regular research to support the industry with the latest data and insights around consumer sentiment, including tastes and preferences, to help you create your experiences in line with market demands and choose your routes to market accordingly. As an example, let's take a look at some of the various traveller types we may consider when gaining a better understanding of our key target audience. First, let's look at fully independent travellers, FITs. They tend to make their own arrangements and rely heavily on word of mouth, internet, and social media when planning their trip. Number 2, group tours via tour operators. They prefer structured itineraries and highly organised and pre-booked tour arrangements. While with number 3, youth education travellers, they typically age between 18 and 29 and include short course participants, long-term university students, school excursions and exchanges, often travelling off-peak. Number 4, we look at business travellers, which is made up of individuals on a business trip. And lastly, number 5 are special interest travellers who travel for reasons associated with personal interests and book through specialised tours. Other recent research relevant to the domestic audience highlights the priority segments you should be considering. Beginning with the core, this includes couples aged 45 plus who have no dependent children, while those under 45 with no kids and families can also be included in this bracket. There is also an opportunity to grow the core, particularly amongst the single unconstrained adult under 45 and adults in Northern Ireland. So definitely worth considering as you work to shape your experiences and explore your routes to market. When strategizing with your teams around the target customer base, it's worth spending some time to brainstorm around what the various customer personas look like. There is a very useful template available on the Fáilte Ireland Business Support Hub to help you in doing so and is linked here on the slide. Here you'll also find 2 sample personas created previously. While the examples are internationally based, the same format can be used when creating personas for domestic or international customers to identify everything from demographics to hobbies and how they consume media. As we gain a better understanding of the tastes and preferences of our target audience, it allows us to shape our experiences accordingly so that they are meaningful and resonate with who we are trying to attract. When working with lean teams and limited resources, as many do within community tourism, aim to pick the low-hanging fruits for the biggest impact. For example, the research tells us that unconstrained adults over 45 enjoy hiking, walking and historic houses. By collaborating to develop an experience that combines or highlights these elements and communicating them within your marketing efforts, you'll be better placed to appeal to those customers that you are trying to attract. You can find all the latest research and insights available on the Fáilte Ireland website under Consumer Sentiment Reports, linked here for your reference. By now, you'll have gained clarity on the experiences you will offer and who you will target. The next step is to package and brand your experience so that you can take it to the market. It's important to carve out a very clear positioning for your business and where you plan to sit within the marketplace. This includes the personality of your brand. For example, are you fun and vibrant or classic and refined? What is your promise to your visitor and what can they expect from an experience, your branding, and what your values are? For example, are they sustainability or putting people first? How are you communicating your offerings and the various channels you use, along with thinking about how you want people to feel when they interact with your brand, be it on site, through a radio ad, or a piece of creative used on social media? One of the most important ways we communicate our brand to the desired market is through our branding. Your brand identity includes your visual identity from your logo to colours used and font. Some brands focus more on graphics, while others lean more towards visuals such as imagery and video. Branding can also extend to the use of patterns on collateral and animations such as GIFs. The rise in social media channels as a key route to market has called for increased content in the form of high-quality imagery and video content. Therefore, it's important to also consider your visual aesthetic so there is consistency in the style and tone of imagery you are sharing. Your brand identity extends far beyond your logo. To help you roll it out across all routes to market consistently, I'd recommend to collate a one-page guideline at the very least to outline the logo usage, colour Pantones, and typography, which is the font used. This will allow you to share it with anyone working on pulling your brand through. Here is another example from the Stay and Spend brand kit that many of you will have already seen and is essential in a case like this where multiple businesses across the country are responsible for pulling through the same brand across their businesses and marketing communication channels. Moving beyond brand guides, let's look at two different examples of how a brand identity is implemented across various assets. Here's an example of Wexford Festival Opera. The overall aesthetic is elegant with a luxurious feel, classic and opulent. The logo is black and white, whereas you'll see how they use an image of the location in the background of the figurines, while all of the different show ads on the video use a similar format with the text placed bottom left over a vibrant visual. A second example is the Boyne Valley, who have done a great job of packaging the branding of the destination. Again, you'll see the logo on its own and then how the brand is brought to life in the two sample creatives, with their tagline being a vibrant landscape inspired by the past and a play on the word time to communicate the history and heritage of the destination. The use of green also reflects the luscious green landscape, while the imagery shows people having fun. Visual storytelling is the most powerful way to emotionally engage potential customers. Reflect the experience and a sense of what viewers will see, hear, touch, taste and smell in your imagery. The strongest motivating factor when people are deciding to go on a trip is indeed content. So again, highlighting the importance of creating high quality imagery and video. It allows us to communicate with our potential customers, addressing their emotional needs while evoking emotions through creating atmospheric shots that transport the viewer to your destination and provide reassurance around the safety protocols. Tourism marketing is the business discipline of attracting visitors to a specific location using a wide variety of communication strategies and techniques to promote areas and destinations. Global studies say that as consumers, we are exposed to anywhere between 4,000 and 10,000 ads daily, from the radio to social media, billboards and traditional media. Only a small percentage of these ads are actually seen or processed by the consumer. So what can we do to ensure that we cut through the noise and stand out in the marketplace to be seen and heard by our desired customer? Here are 4 fundamental steps to consider when crafting your message to help you communicate with impact and to motivate and inspire. Number 1, be unique and distinctive by highlighting your unique selling points. These are the key touch points that differentiate you from your competitors. They could be things like an unrivaled location with breathtaking views, the first of its kind in Ireland, or something that is award-winning. Number 2, be compelling by making a meaningful connection that attracts your ideal audience. Provide an intriguing hook to get their attention and entice them to want to learn more. Number 3, be clear and concise, getting straight to the point of what the experience is, opening hours, pricing, booking details, and so on. Avoid jargon that is difficult for the consumer to sift through and find what they need. Number 4, be actionable by always including a call to action such as find out more, book now, register today. It is our role as marketeers to let the customer know what we would like them to do with our message. PR is a form of earned media, which is essentially free publicity generated by consumers, PR and influencers who speak about your brand or product. In the absence of an external PR agency to support, here are some tips on how to get started and leverage PR to drive talkability. Begin by getting to know the media landscape. Listen to the radio, read the newspapers, and follow journalists and media outlets of relevance on social. As you watch and listen, identify those who are covering topics relevant to your experience, offering, community, and location. You can use an Excel spreadsheet to build a list with their contacts, what we call a media list or a database. Share news and angles that are newsworthy and relevant to what the media outlet or journalist relative to your destination and saleable experience. And finally, always send a thank you note if you are featured, using this point of communication to build upon the relationship further by inviting them to come and experience what you have to offer at a time that is convenient to them. When developing your marketing strategy, there are some key building blocks to work through while integrated form a 360-degree marketing communications plan. As we've looked at, a crucial first step is to get clear on your positioning. From there, take some time to draft your key messages and PR plan. You'll need to create and curate content, which includes capturing imagery and video for your website, social media, and marketing material. You'll need to write all of your text for the various platforms, along with blogs and newsletter content. Be sure to get active on Discover Ireland by updating your listing or setting one up if you're not already live on the platform. There are great opportunities to avail of by aligning to your destination brand, whether you fall under the Wild Atlantic Way, Ireland's Hidden Heartlands, Ireland's Ancient East, or Dublin Surprising by Nature. Reach out to your local rep to discuss upcoming opportunities. And not forgetting social media, which has become paramount in all marketing communications these days. Rather than ad hoc posting, think about your brand story, USPs, local storytellers, and how you can bring them all to life across your social media channels. Also, be sure to select which social media channels are most relevant to you and your business, your offerings, and target audience. For example, Twitter is a conversation starter, while LinkedIn is more targeted at a corporate audience, while Instagram is great for targeting the young, unconstrained adult. So you're clear on what you want to say and who you're going to say it to. You have some budget, and with so many channels and marketing platforms available, you want to select which channels are best to use to reach your desired audience. Let's take a look at the marketing channel mix. There are 3 segments to the wheel. Paid media involves paying to drive traffic conversion and lead creation to owned media properties. Examples include radio ads, print ads, and paid social media. Earned media is free publicity generated by consumers, PR, and influencers who speak about your brand or product, which we looked at in the PR section earlier, and includes media coverage, social shares, influencers, and fam trips. Owned media are channels that you own, manage yourself, including website, TV screens, or digital kiosks on site. You will not be able to leverage every channel, nor is it necessary. What's most important is to select the channels that are most relevant based on your resources, budget, and audience. Consider the audience you are trying to reach and the channels they consume most. For example, a busy mum looking to book a family day out may reference top things to do on sites like herfamily.ie, mummy pages, and roller coaster, whereas an unconstrained couple aged 65 may read the Irish Times at the weekend and look out for walks, houses, and gardens mentioned to visit there. There is merit in selecting 3 channels per segment you are trying to reach to begin. Evaluate their performance and the return on investment and tweak as required. It's also important to consider whether you are targeting a domestic or international audience, as the channels you select will vary accordingly. That brings us to the end of this video training, which I hope you have found helpful. For additional training and resources, visit the Fáilte Ireland Support Hub online, and you can download the Community Tourism Toolkit at the link enclosed. Thank you for watching.